Hi, everyone. My name's Heather, and thank you all for coming here, and thank you guys for putting this on. Very, very exciting. So, as I said, my name is Heather. My Twitter is down there. But I am a back-end software developer for a Fintech startup here in London called Landbay. I moved from Canada to London for this job about 8 months ago, and I absolutely love it so far. But as I've been here in London, I've kind of started to notice a funny thing. As I've sort of started to network outside of my office and try and get involved in the local tech scene, I've noticed that almost every time I tell another female engineer that I work in Fintech, I sort of get the same reaction, which looks a little bit like that. And at first it surprised me because I love my job, but as I dug into why do people think this, why am I getting this reaction, I kind of started to understand it. Fintech has gotten, for better, for worse, a kind of unflattering stereotype of a very hyper-masculine image. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine a very hotshot Wall Street guy with his suspenders and slicked back hair, and then you mix into that company sort of like the broiest of the tech bros, and then you top all of that off with all of the excitement and the sex appeal of accounting. So I kind of start to understand the face. Like, I get it. But the truth is that a lot of modern fintech companies aren't like this at all. There are so many organizations out there that aren't like traditional banks, but instead are trying to make finance more accessible and more understandable and less painful for each and every person out there. And the way that I think that good fintech can be built and that people can be doing this is instead of leaning into this hyper-masculine image, is instead leaning into some historically feminine characteristics, like being compassionate, being collaborative, and being creative. Let me break down for you how this looks in a fintech environment. So being compassionate. So compassionate, caring, empathetic. This is probably one of the most stereotypically feminine characteristics that's out there, but it's one that's also severely lacking from the traditional finance sector. And it really needs to be there because money is everywhere. You can't avoid it, you need it, but it can be really stressful and really, really complicated. Who here has ever been stressed out by money? Anyone? Yeah? Okay, me too. Well, we're not alone, obviously. They did a study by Metro UK that says 77% of people are in the UK are currently stressed out about money. 77% of people. It's a stressful number just to think about it. Even more terrifying is the fact that 33% of people across the United Kingdom are financially illiterate. Now, when I say financially illiterate, I don't mean they don't understand the stock market or don't understand tax law. I mean they have trouble calculating change from a shopping trip or that they don't understand their expenses. 33% of people is a huge swath of the population. And that's why when we're working in fintech, it's so important that we understand that money is stressful, money is complicated, and it's our job to make that easier and make that better. I work in an investment platform, which I think is one of the biggest areas that needs this compassion because investments are very intimidating. From like our marketing team that needs to understand, you don't need to have a master's in finance to choose an investment product or to make a smart money choice, or from the fact that as a software engineer, I need to be building systems that are secure and that are resilient because that money, that platform that I'm building, it's not just bits and bytes, it's your future vacation fund or the down payment on your first house. It's really important to keep that in mind and hold on to that compassion. And once you have that idea of what your users need and what you need to build for them, you actually have to build that. And for that, you need collaboration. This is something I think is seen really well, or at least striving towards a lot, in some of the challenger banks, like Monzo and Starling. They have these mottos that is, build a better bank for everyone, or making money work for everyone. The key word being everyone. And so that really starts at the core of the team you're building. You're building a diverse team that reflects everyone. Both Monzo and Starling have teams that are over 40% women. including key roles like CEO and CTO, which is awesome, but it's still a work in progress and things that they're continually working towards. Monzo, for instance, they actually go beyond just looking at gender diversity, and they release a diversity and inclusion report every year that looks at everything from age to education levels to sexual orientation, gender identity, neurodiversity, disabilities, lots of other things that I'm forgetting to mention, as well as the actions that they're taking to support such a diverse workforce. These are the kind of things that build a collaborative environment that build great fintech. Outside, fintech is actually surprisingly collaborative as well. There's open banking legislation that allows banks, well, not so much allows, but forces banks to share their data and connect with other applications so that you can do things like have a real-time budgeting app or make investments from your smartphone. And this is the kind of legislation that allows this ecosystem to exist. There's also a really, really underrated area of creativity in the fintech space. Now, admittedly, creativity is probably one of the less stereotypically feminine aspects, but I think it's really, really important to mention here because it's one of the things that is so different from the buttoned up, kind of rigid, structured image of traditional finance. And it's one that I see a lot of women pushing towards doing really amazing things, like designers and front-end developers doing amazing, beautiful, interactive data visualizations, or product managers somehow making learning about financial products fun and playful. Or you have people who are back-end developers who are solving concurrency issues and entrepreneurs solving tough problems. One of my favorite fintech examples of this is a woman named Elizabeth Rosiello. She's the founder and CEO of a company called BitPesa. Has anyone ever heard of BitPesa? Okay, yeah, awesome. So what BitPesa does is they're a money exchange organization. So traditionally, if you're exchanging money, probably lots of you have exchanged pounds for euros or US dollars or things like that, possibly even, sent them internationally via wire transfer. Have anyone ever tried to transfer money into less traded currencies like Congolese francs or Kenyan shillings or Nigerian naira? Yeah, I don't know about when I looked up the prices for that, you have to pay up to 10% in fees some of the time, and it can take anywhere, according to the banks, between 5 to 12 days for your money to transfer over, which in the world of internet is absolutely ridiculous that you need to wait 12 days for anything. So what she did was, instead of looking at the current banking infrastructure, she found a way around that using digital currency. So by using Bitcoin, you can transfer your pounds to Bitcoin to shillings, or shillings to Bitcoin to pounds, and it's 90% faster, and it's 90% less expensive, which allows small businesses to actually grow and invest in these frontier markets, or it allows family members to send money to their loved ones without paying exorbitant costs. So it's a very creative and innovative solution to a problem that traditional banking just kind of ignored. There's so many ways that you can be creative in this industry. And the thing that I think is most important to remember is that being creative means that you don't have to do things the way that they've been done before, and that you don't have to look like, or you don't have to act like, the people who did it before you. And I think that's one of the things that fintech really needs to embrace, is that idea of being collaborative and being compassionate, which will allow them to be more creative. And it will allow modern fintech to be better than the traditional finance and technology that came before it. And it doesn't matter where you are on the gender spectrum, you can embrace these traditionally, historically feminine characteristics and do really awesome things, honestly, inside or outside of the fintech industry. But there are tons of opportunities for everyone to do things in fintech. And if you want to talk about them, please come see me, because I love talking about this. And even if you're just curious, I would love to connect you with anyone in the industry. And the reason is because I truly, truly believe that the future of fintech, or at the very least, the future of really good fintech, is feminine. Thanks.